Hey, what's going on, Los Angeles? Welcome to the Rams Skinny here on the LAFB network. This is your daily dose of Rams news. We're going to talk a little fun about somewhat of a newcomer, cornerback Emmanuel Forbes. But first and foremost, my man Skinny T, what's up, brother? How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. It's my Friday. For those of you that don't know, Thursday is a Friday for me. So this is the end of my day.
This is
Start
it.
the weekend.
Wrap up talking on the mic, and then you're ready to roll into the weekend. Any brown stuff on the? I mean, like whiskey. Any like whiskey on the docket for tonight?
I actually have none. I've been trying to not keep a whiskey around the house because I just drink it. So
Smart.
Taking it easy. Just drinking some tonic water. That's about
Getting
it.
old.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. I probably need to do the same. But anywho, so mini camp is underway for the Rams. They have kind of an off dates all over the place in June. But first set has kind of in the books, and obviously that comes with coaches talking to the media. And Chris Shula, by the way, who obviously has been the defense coordinator for a year, but I think he's fantastic with the media. Like he gives really good nuggets, good insight. Great. I feels like just great public speaker in front of the media. So hats off, Chris Shula, doing a good job. But he was asked about one Emmanuel Forbes, former first round pick, former kite blown away in the wind, but seems to be tracking well with the Rams. Skinny, tell us what they've been saying out of camp.
Well, Shula says it's nice to see how smart he is. He communicates really well. He's done a great job. We're excited. We're really excited about him mid-season, but now you can see it clicking. Sean McVay was also asked. He says he's been bulking up, looking really good. He's been awesome in his understanding of what we're trying to get done. I thought he did a nice job in the Seattle game. But I'll say one thing. Sean McVay is already talking about seeing him in preseason. I think it might be the kiss of death.
Why
for one Emmanuel Forbes. Well, the Rams don't play starters. They're not interested in seeing their starters out there in preseason. So if they're going to plop a guy down in preseason, if they're already talking about wanting to see him in preseason, he hasn't risen to that level to knock out an Ahkello Witherspoon, a Darius Williams, or a Darian Kendrick, or Kobe Durant. He's still below all of those. That's what I'm reading between the lines here for Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah, it's a good point because they don't. Not only do the Rams not play starters, but they don't even play guys that are going to be active playing time players. It doesn't mean you have to be a starter, but if you're a rotational piece or whatever, like you don't play in preseason. The Rams just don't do that. So I think it's a good point. Shows where he is. In my opinion, the Rams don't show very good poker faces very often, but I think they said enough to where there is some real excitement there. And I just think because he is so new still, joining last year, I mean, it was even after midseason. And so I think they do want to get some valuable game reps just to see how he fits with the system. So, but it's interesting because this is a player that could end up clawing his way to a rotational important role, or could be cut during training camp. Neither would surprise me. Like, where do you think right now, where do you think he's trending more, in your opinion?
Well, I think the cornerback situation dictates. We haven't heard anything about Darian Kendrick and his recovery from his ACL that happened last year in training camp, sometime in August, I think.
Yep.
Maybe late July. But this is not the most well-formed room. It's not the deepest room. It's not there's some that would argue that the starters are still up for grabs, Darius Williams getting older. Ahkello Witherspoon has been hurt and kind of inconsistent. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's trending in the right direction. They're saying that he's doing all the right things, which is exciting. Sean McVay called out specifically his ability to go out and get interceptions in college. He locked down a whole bunch, 14 interceptions throughout his collegiate career, and scored 6 touchdowns off those interceptions. So he's got that thing, which seems to be really attractive to the Rams right now. That's kind of what they were really attracted about Cam Kinchins about, enough to draft him. So, it's one of those guys. He's always had potential. This is why I kind of compare him to Tutu Atwell. One, because they're both really featherweight football players, but also because the potential is there. we've seen it in action, just not necessarily in the pros so far. But he came into the league at 160 pounds, which is in the 0th percentile for drafted guys. Now he's listed at 180. You could take that for a grain of salt or for a feather, whatever you want it. But Sean McVay is making a point to say he's bulking up, and that's let's hope so.
Yeah, it needs to, especially with some of the physicality that these receivers pose now. I'd love to see one-on-ones with him and Tutu in training camp.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they make that happen. Like, talk about the Spider-Man meme where they're like pointing the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
That's Tutu and Emmanuel Forbes in terms of body size, and speed probably too. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I can't remember if Schuler or McVay, but also mentioned that, he's really leaning on Aubrey Pleasant, who's obviously the position coach, and how he's, taking more to what Aubrey Pleasant wants to see out of that room and get acclimated. And obviously when you join midseason, it takes a while to not only get accustomed with, what your role is and just getting around the building, but also schematically, it's going to look very different than where you were previously. So that's going to take, having to do that all on the fly midseason is obviously challenging. So having this whole offseason, I think, can be really, really strong for a guy like Forbes. And as you alluded to, for a room that's wide open. I mean, this is a dude that could literally be CB1 as a former first round pick. Like if it all comes together for him and he can reach the ceiling that obviously he was drafted as, being drafted that high and that good out of college, like there's no reason why he couldn't end up winning CB1. And this is no shade to a guy like Akella Witherspoon, but a guy that they wouldn't re-sign last year till like the season started or after the season started, and then wouldn't re-sign this year till basically other free agency deals fell through and they brought him back late kind of in that process. So, and then you also have the, cloud weighing out there of like, are they going to end up trading for one Jalen Ramsey? And there's still like, in my opinion, I don't think it will happen just because the asking price, but that's another conversation, which we'll talk about. But there's still that like potential of like, are they going to bring someone like that in to be CB1? And what does that mean for Forbes? So this right now is his time to really make a net positive and be the dude that's like, hey, I'm vying for that spot because it is wide open and I'm here to take it and not give it to anyone. So good to hear he's on the right track. Good to hear he's bulking up. We'll see what that really means, come preseason.
Yeah, and McVay didn't shy away from shutting down one of those available cornerbacks that could come in and possibly be cornerback one. Jair Alexander was just cut by the Green Bay Packers, which makes him inexpensive. He's been hurt. He's missed a bunch of games over the last couple of seasons, under 30 years old. So does that make him, is it a mistake that the Rams aren't even thinking of that as a possibility to go after Jair Alexander?
Yeah, which I kind of think it is. We'll talk about that in another segment, but yeah. Anything else on Forbes?
No, that's all.
Yeah, well, let us know what you guys think. I think there was the excitement when he was signed. Anytime you get a former first rounder who's still very young, you never know what can come of that. So I think it was a really low risk, high reward signing, and hopefully we'll see something come out of it this kind of off season. So it'll be interesting. We'll have, updates for you around the clock on Emmanuel Forbes and what that looks like. So make sure to comment below. If you have not already, hit that like and subscribe button. Rams LAFB is the YouTube channel. You can find us on audio platforms. Rams Skinny, or everything can be found on LAFBnetwork.com. That's Skinny T. I'm Ryan Dyer. We'll be back with more Rams talk very soon.